Hey Sports World, another episode of Sports with Psycho Sam. Today, I just want to go ahead and talk about the Broncos and the Broncos only. Um, Bradley Chubb is out for the season, tore his ACL, so we won't see him again this year. And there's been reports out there saying Chris Harris is likely done after the season. He said that he only has 13 more games. But then again, it was reported that he is just upset with the losing, and I don't blame him. And I would be upset too, being a guy that has won the Super Bowl. You know, he was there with Peyton Manning and everything like that. I'd be really frustrated too if I was a vet. You know, you've been there for a really long time, and things ain't going your way, and you guys are losing in a year in and year out. It's very difficult to handle, you know, just when you're used to doing things a certain way and you guys aren't on the winning side of football, you know. That's difficult to handle for anybody, and just don't like to see it. So I see the frustration in these vets with these younger players and everything like that. But also, if you are one of these vets, you need to be coaching these younger guys up and being that vocal leader and stepping up to the plate more often. There's been a few plays where it's come down to those veteran players not making those plays that they should be making. So, lead by example basically is what you got to do. So in this video, some of you guys ain't gonna like what I have to say, and some of you guys will agree with it, but these next two games will really decide how everything's going to go, I believe. Okay, so there's one of two options right now for the Broncos, and the next one next few games will decide on those options, I believe. If we lose the next two games, then I think we should start a rebuild. But if we win the next two games, it can turn out, say, like Anthony Lynn, the Chargers head coach, his first season. Okay, the Chargers started out 0-4, but they ended up having a winning season. They went 9-7. So it all depends on how these guys react and how these guys are going to compete and actually put forth the effort into trying to win football games and not pointing the finger and just getting better and having that leadership and making plays and bringing guys together and just, you know, practice what you preach. You're preaching about, you know, making turnovers and playing good football. Well, giving up 260 rushing yards ain't playing good football. That's on the coaching. That's on the play. That's on team effort. You have to play every single down. You can't give up on downs. And don't think this is a hate video on my Broncos. I'm a diehard Bronco fan. Always have been and always will be. My wife gets mad at me because I'm so much into the Broncos. And I yell at the TV when we're not doing good. So I'm there with my Broncos till I die, you know. I don't know anything else but the Broncos when it comes to football. But I think we need to make some changes. Shelby Harris needs to go to his actual position. I think we need to use Mike Purcell as our nose tackle. He looked pretty good in the offseason. I think that will help us out in the run support. And we're really not doing too good when teams run to the left side, and that on the defensive side is the right end, and the right outside linebacker is where we're having trouble. So that's Adam Gotz's side, and I was speaking upon this before the season even started. I know a lot of guys like Adam Gotz's. He usually is a good help when it comes to run support, but he's been iffy, and I've always said that, and he's proven me right now. I'm just being honest here. We need to step it up. I think Shelby Harris and other guys like that getting in there, mixing it up, giving these guys some spell breaks will do a good job of getting them in there and fighting every play, and we would get more pressure on the quarterback if we rotate Adam Gotsis and Shelby and also Derek Wolfe, switch them around. Guys get complacent and they get stuck in the mode of just playing one role. I think if you switch up the defense and get them in different spots and fighting against different guys, it will help us out. Also, we need to try something different with our inside linebackers. I know we've been hurt there. I think we should try a few different guys out in different spots. I think Will Parks would be a good fit for switching up hybrid safety, you know, coming down in the box a little bit. I know he's suspect on tackling, but he's quick. He's instinctive. I think he would do a good job covering tight ends on certain plays. And we just need to find what works, you know. Try different things, switch it up. It's not going to hurt anything at this point. Also, we have to do more running the football. You know, our play calling has been hurting us as well. In certain situations, I think we should be running the ball, but we end up passing. Like that Joe Flacco interception against the Jaguars. I thought we should have been running the ball a little bit right there. Wear down the clock. We were up, you know, 17-3. We were in field goal position. We could have actually had a field goal out of that at least, instead of turning the ball over, and would have a little bit more minimum going into halftime. Going up 20-3, that's a pretty big deficit, you know, 17-point lead. Instead, it was 17-6. So we need to do a better job when it comes to play calling. Also, we need to do a better job of scouting these players. That goes to the scout team. That's not just on John Elway. You know, everybody's calling for John Elway's head. For what? He's drafted guys like Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, plenty of guys, you know, that are out there putting in work, that are still there. You know, everybody wants to just blame John Elway like he's only drafted Garrett Bowles or guys like that, or Paxton Lynch. Yeah, he has had bad drafts. He's had good drafts. It's just up and down, and it's all about the scout team. And also, he's wanted to make a couple moves, but there's people above him as well, such as Joe Ellis, who is telling him no, he can't have what he wants. Can't sign certain players, can't sign certain head coaches. So it's a team effort. It's everybody up top that is making these decisions together, and the scout team that is scouting these guys that are being drafted. It is not one person to be blamed. It is a group of people. So that's my thoughts on turning the season around. Like, we just need to do a better job on defense and offensively. We need to run the ball, and we need to put in guys in certain positions to help us out, stopping the run. And people just need to make plays. That's what it's about. Forget all that holding calls. Forget all of the, these guys can't do this or do that. You just need to go out there and make plays and play as hard as you can. Forget the blown calls of roughing the passer and everything like that. You still have opportunities after that to go and stop them on defense. So yeah, it's all on our play and how we do. But on a good note, the offensive line hasn't had any holding calls accepted on them in the last couple of weeks. And last week we didn't give up any sacks against Jacksonville, so that was a plus. But if we were to lose these next 2 games, I think a rebuild is in order. We'll see how it goes, but if we do lose the next 2 games and we are rebuilding, we need to go ahead and keep Von Miller. Don't get rid of him. He's still got plenty of years left in him. Bradley Chubb, is a staple of the defense on the other side. And then you also got Justin Simmons that you need to build around. After that, pretty much guys are you need to get rid of, like Chris Harris Jr. He's getting older. I know a lot of people ain't gonna like to hear that, but he's demanding a lot of money. This is his last year on the contract, and he's not getting any younger. So it would free up a lot of cap space and give us money to go after guys in free agency. And also, I believe we can get draft capital off of him. Also trading guys like Derek Wolfe. I wouldn't say Shelby Harris because he's not making too much money. I mean, you would get a couple draft picks for him and everything like that, but I would just wait until the end of the season and let him play it out. Todd Davis is another guy that I would think about trading. Will Parks is still young. I just think he hasn't found his footing. And I think there is a lot of safeties coming in the draft that I have been watching in college football that look really good, that could be a replacement. And a lot of corners as well that I've seen that could replace the ones that we've got. And on the offensive side of the ball, I would trade Garrett Bowles. I would also trade Ronald Leary and try to trade Juwan James and rebuild around Connor McGovern and Dalton Reisner, who is an absolute beast. And then I would trade Emmanuel Sanders. I would trade Booker. I want to trade Booker as it is. Devante Booker needs to be off of this team. He looked pretty terrible returning kick returns. And he just hasn't really panned out. That's another one that I think just needs to go, period. We can get something out of him. And we need to build around Cortland Sutton and Deshaun Hamilton and Noah Fant and Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman. Those are your core guys. It's not a bad idea to go out there and change and give Vic Fangio the guys that he wants and that he deserves for the next year if all fails this season, if we can't turn this around. But I am hoping that we do turn the season around and that we do start winning. I think we can do it. I think we have talent there. I think that these guys just need to go out there and fight. A word that people don't like to use is soft, and they look soft. They got beat up out there in the second half. They didn't seem like they wanted to fight. And on the defensive side, you got to have better play calling as well. Stack the box. Dare him to throw it. We were getting pressure 5 sacks, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't doing that great of a job passing the ball. They started running the ball down our throats. In the first half, Leonard Fournette only had 35 rushing yards. Think about that. He ended up with 220 for the entire game. Okay? So that means he had, what, 185 rushing yards in the second half? That's just ridiculous to give up that much in just one half. So it looked like they were tired, they were giving up, and you can't have that when you already have 3 losses under your belt, and now you have a 4th one because of the effort that you showed. Anywho, these are just my thoughts. If you have any opinions, go ahead and leave those comments. Go ahead and like this video or subscribe if you want to. Hurrah!